Then he said, "Let me go, for the day has broken." But Jacob said to him, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." Jacob won't let go. And now instead of wrestling, he clings. Hosea provides a commentary. He strove with the angel and prevailed. He wept and sought his favor. Jacob now has met his match. This encounter is the climax and the culmination of a lifetime of struggle. He's never been brought to this point before, a point of weakness, a place where he simply cannot continue, a point where all he can do is cling on and plead for blessing. I will not let you go. The striving has turned to clinging. Jacob approaches Esau radically changed. He is dependent, not self-reliant. He is generous, not grasping. He is humble, not arrogant. He is weak, not strong. God has worked in Jacob's life to make Jacob cling to the God of grace. And in weakness and frailty, he clings on to God until God gives him the blessing. And now, as the man who clings on to God in his weakness, he becomes a blessing to Esau as he enters into the land of promise. This is the God of Israel. If this is a fundamental principle for the people of God, that God works in his sovereignty to render the people through whom he works weak, so that the people who become a blessing are those who are weak and frail, we should find that everywhere in the Bible. And as you open the Bible, page after page after page, you discover it. Gideon. My clan is the weakest, I am the least in my father's house. Samson. King David in the Psalms. Supremely, we see it at Gethsemane. As one man, in utter weakness, apparent frailty, kneels and clings to God in prayer before the moment of his greatest weakness, through which he becomes a blessing to the nations. Cling to God. In his sovereignty, God will work deliberately to ensure that we cling to God. We see that supremely at the cross of Christ, where Jesus clings to the God of grace and becomes a blessing to the nations. This is a fundamental principle of Christian living. If you haven't learned it, you will fail to be content throughout your Christian life, because when something terrible happens, you'll think there's been a terrible mistake. And if you don't realize it in your Christian life, you will realize it in your Christian death. For there you will be in abject weakness. And the glory of the gospel is that through the weakness of Jesus, through his death for your sin, through his resurrection, as you cling to him desperately, he will bring victory.